Hello again, it is me, Matsimus. I really appreciate you stopping by for today's video. We're talking a little bit more about armoured fighting vehicles today and some technological advances that are coming up in the near future. Interestingly enough, when I was an armoured fighting vehicle crew member, I really did struggle with situational awareness and spatial awareness whilst driving these vehicles and just commanding them. It is very difficult once you start getting hatched down, buttoned up, to actually determine where you are around in the environment that you're in, especially when you're in built-up environments, wood lines and such. And recently, there's been more and more technology being adapted to try and suit helping the human eye and the human brain to adapt better to situational awareness when it comes to looking through little slats of glass on vehicles that are, to be honest, quite difficult to maneuver anyway. So recently there has been really interesting advances with virtual reality and how the technology can be placed in a military environment. And I don't have the really warm fuzzy feeling about this yet, but I think the technology that I'm about to show you in the next video is really going to showcase the kind of things that we may be able to feature in armoured fighting vehicles in the future. Inherently, they do have some problems that they need to oversee. For instance, these cameras can get covered in mud and they can get blown off, and it really does just then waste the complete effect of this kind of system. But overall, I think they're onto something. So let's take a quick look at this video, go over it, and then I'll have a little bit of discussion with you guys about it.
Iron Vision for commanders and drivers. Another first from Elbit Systems.
For effective combat capabilities, you need maximum visibility, maximum control over your systems, and maximum readiness day or night. You need to see the hostiles before they see you. See first, identify first, react first.
So when they handed me this, so light on my helmet, I knew I had it made.
It keeps my crew out of harm's way. Up to now, armor and mechanized commanders and drivers almost couldn't see anything around them from inside the vehicle. But with this, we have a full field of view day and night for me and my driver. They call it Iron Vision. Now you see me, which means I'm exposed to enemy fire.
Okay, I know this isn't Among Moments video, but this specific instance really does justify being able to put Among Moment in there. First of all, his cam looks like an elephant has farted in his face after a long night out in the curry. Second of all, his helmet is so far off his head, it's almost redundant wearing one. And third of all, dude, why are you sitting so far out of your cupola that yes, you are exposed? There is absolutely no requirement for you to be out that high if you're a combat environment where this random white crosshaired scope sight is on your face. It's really, really weird. I kind of see the point they're making at, but I had to mention it because this is really, really ridiculous as a scene.
Now you don't. Looks as if it's made all out of glass, doesn't it? Now I can see all around, even under closed hatches, so we are totally protected.
Sorry. Again, I can't help the Among Moment thing here, but can you imagine your commander or your gunner next to you when you're using this thing and you're not really paying attention, you're looking through into these, what appears to be a vineyard of like Italian winemaking country. Instead, just behind that image is someone just flipping you the bird or giving you the finger and telling you to fuck off. I think that'd be hilarious.
And I get 360 degrees vision and situational awareness. You know, this was originally developed for the aircraft and the helicopter's pilots, where Elbit is the leader in helmet-mounted systems. Now, it was time that armored and
Whoa, stop the bus. Look at that fancy little BMP there. It's been modded up to the nines. I don't know if that is an actual BMP. Obviously, it's had some upgrades, but it looks very similar to one. Almost like a BMP, BM2, maybe a BMP3 model with a very funky little turret there. I'm very interested to see exactly what that vehicle is. I'm quite embarrassed I don't know what that is. I'll have to do some research, but that looks like a video review in the making there, folks, so stay tuned.
Mechanized commanders like me got the exact same capabilities on ground. We need full view and situational awareness with zero latency, whatever we're in. A tank or an AFV. Basically, it puts the C4I right in front of my eyes on top of the battlefield's view, so I can see both of them together at the same time.
Now honestly, this would be a fantastic feature, but it's very reliant on accurate information. This seems like a huge risk when it comes to blue on blue attack, or blue on civilian attack, or just incorrect designation of targets. As you can see, the various different markers of units on the field here are being annotated on their vision block. That is scary to me because you are relying on technology very heavily to positively ID targets and friendlies on the battlefield. And if there is a glitch and you have some panic mode of one of your gunners, or even you as a commander, to lock on and engage targets with whatever weapon system you're using, you better make sure that this system is 100% accurate, or you're going to have a really bad day in jail.
Besides that, the helmet brings the weapon systems to my line of sight. And when I need to see the full C4I picture, I stop the video on my screen and see through the transparent glasses the entire C4I on the tactical computer screen.
Okay, so I kind of like this feature, the fact that you can swap between the different visions and views that you're looking through this headset. The problem is, though, battlefield management is stressful as it is, especially in an armored fighting vehicle. When you're in a helicopter, for the most part, it's either your gunner or the pilot that's going to be doing a lot of the different tracking and variations of views when you're looking through those headsets. When it comes to an armored fighting vehicle, there's a lot more going on than there is in a helicopter when you're focusing on doing things. Some may be a little objective to that, and I'll definitely take your opinion on it. But I know as a vehicle commander myself, a lot of things going on 360 all the time that you've really got to pay attention to. And I think enough stress is on the brain as is than trying to focus on different fields of view through this headset and these different lenses. I think your brain's going to be an overload. You add some sleep deprivation on there too, being a ground crew member. That's always going to be the case. You're setting yourself up for a bit of a disaster, and once again, I hope he's not going to look at this battlefield management computer with accidental mishaps or designations.
With the smart TMR, I can switch any device, all controlled inside my APC. So if I want to get on my screen videos from sensors or a UAS picture...
Now, this is where I think this technology is going to succeed wholeheartedly. For the fact that UAVs and aerial reconnaissance vehicles are the future. It's a fact, and we're seeing more and more drone technology coming out. This is the kind of application that I think these headsets are going to be much more applicable for, rather than this mirrorless technology where you can see 360 around the vehicle. I would much rather have a drone that can be deployed from my vehicle when I require it to be, send it out in a recon ahead of the battle group or ahead of the main troop, and recon the area via the drone and send information back to this headset, being able to use that 360 awareness. And you know, with drone technology advancing so much, we're going to be looking at a lot more faster drones, you know, a lot more easy to control drones that don't have to go, 5,000 feet in the air. We're talking about, insect type size drones that can really get very, very close to an enemy position without being seen and returning to the vehicle. I think that's kind of where this should go. And that's what I'd wish they'd focus more on and put more money towards, is we don't have to have high-tech helicopters, high-tech satellites to get a battle picture. We send 10 to 15 of these miniature drones located on a vehicle in like a rear box that can be easily deployed by one of the crew members or automatically via the vehicle, sends it out over the planes, over the firing position or the hull down position you're in your armored fighting vehicle, send it out, get a good battle picture and bring it back. And this headset could integrate with that very, very well. It could also work very well with anti-tank guided missiles like the Spike missile that I did a recent review on, that will once again allow you to see where that missile's flying through the air and see a bit of a battle picture before it engages the target that you just launched it at.
Can be done very easily. Basically, it lets me handle anything, acquire the targets fast, and fire my guns first. What we call look, lock, launch, and really close rapidly the sensor-to-shooter loop.
Elbit Systems' Iron Vision really improves my operational capabilities and mission success.
Elbit Systems paid me a lot of money to say that quote that got me out of Garrison and into this completely random headset and vehicle for the weekend so I could go home and buy myself a new Porsche.
With no special studies, very friendly, and easy to use.
Elbit Systems Iron Vision. From the global leaders in helmet-mounted systems, for fixed and rotary wing aircraft, down to the ground forces. Providing updated combat situational awareness, capturing real-time line-of-sight video with zero latency. Cost-effective.
The last two are hilarious. Zero latency? Are you kidding me? Have you ever used Oculus Rift when it's overloading on some high-end game when you don't have a powerful enough computer to play it? Let's be honest here, the military isn't going to spend millions of dollars on high-tech i7 super GPU powerful graphics card related computers inside their machines they're going to go for the cheapest equipment they possibly can, which goes next to the cost effectiveness. They're not going to be able to combine all these cool things if they don't spend good money on it. And if they're going to go cheap, which they always will do in the military, that's not going to work well with this kind of system. So the last two are kind of ironic that I don't think it's going to be the case. Maybe it does have zero latency, but I don't think the military is going to spend so much money on to allow that to actually happen.
Iron Vision delivers multiple operational advantages, all projected into one intuitive, lightweight, high-definition, head-mounted display. Elbit Systems. Next is now.
Okay, so I'll admit it, I'm pretty impressed with this technology, and I really do hope it does succeed. Do I think it's going to be an overnight thing? No, I think this has many years of development to go through to actually make it more applicable for armoured fighting vehicle crews around the world. I think there's a lot of things they've really got to iron out before this can really come into the major markets, into military application, because right now this is really just a showcase. This very chippy guy here thinks he knows everything about this system and it's the best thing in the world. Well, clearly it's not. You're in a promotional video, buddy. You're getting paid good money to be in it. Whether or not we see it starting to be integrated in, for instance, the M1 Abrams or the Warriors, Bradleys, wherever it may be, I would love to see it being put in place, but I just don't think we're quite there yet. I think this technology is going to be a lot more apparent to forward observation vehicles like a Fu wagon or an artillery observer that can actually relay information back from drones that can be sent from that vehicle. We are starting to see that kind of technology become more and more applicable and widespread across military forces, whether it be just sending a launchable drone or whether it be sending a ground drone that can be driven around. That's the kind of thing I want to see this applied to first and foremost, instead of this kind of mirrorless technology that allows you to see further around the vehicle. I don't think we're really quite there yet in need of this. We have cameras that can be deployed around the vehicle, and the most part, when a vehicle like this is being deployed, they're going to be looking through the gun sights 90% of the time anyway. Then they are trying to see what's behind them or to the sides. They should be supported by ground and air cover to allow them to see that situational awareness. Something that do give me a bit of a red flag is the situational awareness tags on the sort of positive ID markers, whether it be red 4 or blue 4. I hope that isn't going to be something that we really rely on as a commander if it does ever come to be put in place. And I think there's going to be a lot of stress on the brain trying to put these kind of systems in place on a ground fighting vehicle crew, because there's a lot more going on, and I'm not saying that there's not a lot going on in an air crew situation, but for ground crews there's a lot more different things to focus on than looking through all these various different vision planes on this sighting system. I like the fact that the gun can traverse to wherever the gunner or commander is looking, but again, that makes no real sense when you're in a vehicle like this, because at the end of the day you're going to be looking through a sighting system to engage them anyway. It's not like a helicopter when you're trying to focus on flying around and you have a bigger picture from a bird's eye view, because you don't have a bird's eye view in an armoured fighting vehicle. You're looking from the ground, so it doesn't matter where you point your head, your gun isn't going to follow to that position because there's ground, trees, whatever else is in the way, so it's not quite the same application. But I would be interested to see how this goes in the future. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed today's video and learned a little bit about this technology and where it's come to be. If you did enjoy, please leave me a like, and I would love it if you could support my channel in any way through my Patreon account, which is in the box of description below to actually get the link. Thank you again for watching, all the best, and from me and this chippy soldier, bye bye.